Well, this is the last day of 2018. Sorry. I didn't realise that until I was out this morning and somebody said to me, Happy New Year. And I thought, oh my goodness, is it really? We're already into 2019. But no, that comes tomorrow. So, Happy New Year again. Every day should be happy, and that's your job, is to be happy, as the Dalai Lama says. Because it is the new year, I thought it particularly fitting that instead of talking about yoga today, we'll talk about my tarot cards, the Revelation Tarot. For those of you who don't know, I have done the tarot ever since I can remember, and certainly tea leaf reading as well. My mum did tea leaf reading. She was quite good, but she didn't like doing it. She felt it was too much responsibility. My aunts all read the tea leaves and did tarot, but it was frowned upon in our house. But if you know anything about anything, you'll know as a child, if something is frowned on, it has a special mystery and attraction, and it did. And I can remember wandering home from school when I was about 6 years old, with a group of kids around me asking me about tarot questions, and I was just using stones on the ground because I didn't have tea leaves at the time, and I certainly didn't have tarot. I wasn't allowed to do that, so I just used stones on the ground. It doesn't really matter. I'm not sure that I was using the stones on the ground. They were props. Anyway, about 15 years ago, I decided that I'd draw a set of tarot for myself. And if you have drawn anything, you'll know that this is very inspirational work. And so until it was ready to come to me, it was very hard for me to draw anything. And I did the major arcana, and it didn't take me that long at all because it was just streaming out. And then I thought, well, now for the minor arcana, but the minor arcana has just eluded me entirely. And what I have done is drawn another small half-size set that kind of fit together, guardians and gates. So I've got the major arcana, and then I have the smaller set, which is guardians and gates. And what I'll do is I'll wander through them, and I will give you my ideas, and it won't be a lengthy thing because the ideas don't come until somebody's sitting in front of you. A card may be one thing to one person and another thing to somebody else. That is the divineness of the cards. The inspiration comes at the time, just like the stones. When you get a set of cards from me, and you can get them on www.etsy, www.myyogabooks.etsy.com, that's right, www.myyogabooks.etsy.com, because I put them on my yoga site. And they come in a box like that. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, that's how they come. Nice and solid, all protected, and they come with a set of instructions, such as it is, and a little pouch, very hard to get nowadays, all boxed up as a gift for you. The cards are, I'll get up close and I'll show you, they are black and white. They're done on scratchboard, They're not Indian ink or painted or anything like that. They're done on scratch board. The originals were. I still have the originals framed. And these are prints. I recently had them done on what is called satin paper. Isn't it beautiful? It's not glossy. It's just feels like silk. Well, it might have been called silk paper. And the card that I thought we would do today is the one I just showed you, which is the Fool. Okay, on this card, because I don't have the facility to drop it down, on this card there are a number of images. There's wings and blindfold and one of those sticks with the sandwiches in a tea towel attached to it, and a laurel wreath and a pair of winged boots and a cliff and a glass of bubbly wine. There's no figure there. You imagine the figure there. Whomever is sitting in front of you is the figure there. I often talk about this in yoga philosophy, and it's particularly apt for today. And the reason that the cliff is there is that we often find ourselves in this situation, that we are being chased by unknown circumstances or known circumstances that we're trying to avoid. And we can hear the footsteps approaching. And we're on the edge of a cliff. If we go back, we're going to get into trouble. And if we go forward, we'll get even more trouble. What to do? An image that always comes to mind is out of Star Wars, and Princess Leia and Luke are being chased by the stormtroopers, and they come to a cliff, and of course in their cliff it is an actual cliff, and there's a bottomless chasm, and they can see where they've got to go to over there, but there is a void in between, too far to jump across. And they can hear the stormtroopers, chung, 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 chung. And anyway, the voice says, trust the Force, Luke. Well, that's all he's got. He can't trust anything else. Is Princess Leia going to do something amazing? No. Chewbacca going to do something amazing? No. So he stands there and decides that he had to trust the Force. And as he stands there, I don't know what's on his mind, we're not given to know that, a bridge comes out from the cliff, and as they move forward, the bridge extends till they get to the other side. They hop off and the bridge goes back. The stormtroopers are on that side, and Luke is now on that side. So in real life, sometimes if we step out into the void trusting, then the way is made clear to us. But we have to take that first step. The first step is the hardest. We have to trust and be grateful that we have the cliff, and trust and move forward over it. In this case, with this card, when you're talking to a client or you're imagining it for yourself, there's the cliff, there is the magic bridge, and the boots have wings on them, kind of like a safety net. So even if the bridge didn't work in this particular instance, there's you've got wings on your shoes, you haven't even noticed those, and you've got the winner's crown on your head and you haven't noticed that, and you're carrying all your supplies over your shoulder and you haven't noticed that, and you've got wings just in case the shoes don't work, but you haven't noticed that. And it's one by one being grateful for where you are, isn't it? It's saying thank you for the provision, the wonderful daily provision that I have. Thank you for allowing me to be where I am. One thing that the Fool has, which is really important, is he has blindfold. So he has to take the blindfold off before he can see anything, before he even knows where he is. So take the blindfold off. Nothing is so terrible that you don't want to see it. Take the blindfold off and look at things as they are. And then give thanks for where you are and move forward trusting that your moves will be right. You've got all the information, you've got all the provisions, you've got sustenance, you know you're a winner, you've got the winner's crown. All you have to do is move forward with faith and trust. It's not that totally easy. We all know that. You have to make amends to anybody that you've hurt behind you. Alexander the Great, I think it was Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan, I forget which one, when he took his troops on on campaigns, he made them burn the bridges that they crossed so that they wouldn't have anything to go back to. They couldn't go back. They could only go forward. There couldn't be the sort of deserters who scramble back over the bridges to get home, because there weren't any. He burned them. I'm not saying that you have to burn your bridges, but know that you've come across them and you're not going to go back the same way. But the bridges did get you onto solid ground and enable you to make whatever decision it is that you have to make. But instead of thinking that you know nothing or you're in a bad position, find the good in the position and move from the good in the position. See the good things in yourself. See the good things in the surroundings. Give thanks. Forgive the people behind you. Love where you are. And move forward with faith and trust. I love it when this card comes up because it means that you can make new beginnings. I love new beginnings. I was trained as an artist, so an artist the life is full of new beginnings. Every time you sit in front of a painting, it's new beginnings. Not easy, but it's new. And you know how long a painting will take approximately, and you know what you have to do with it next, and you know how to show it, and you know how to frame it, and so on it goes. So that there is a prescribed path. I've talked in the yoga section of the videos about the prescribed path. So this says that you're on the prescribed path. You have everything. Don't stop now. Move forward. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Going backward would not be a good idea. This is all about moving forward. The Fool is the first step in the journey. It's not the first step in the retreat. It's the first step in the journey. Now that step may be taken 3 times a day, but it's still the first step. These cards that I've drawn are very relevant to the everyday and now. They're not fussy, they're not Leonardo da Vinci kind of cards, but they're very relevant, and the images on them, I think, will inspire you. As I said, if you want the cards, if you've seen them before and this is just a nudge, go to www.myyogabooks.etsy.com and you'll find them there. With the cost of postage and everything increasing, they're becoming increasingly difficult to market in this way. But I can't think of any other way at the moment. So, thank you for tuning in. I'll end as I do the yoga videos. Namaste. Which means the divine in me blesses and acknowledges the divine in you. Go forth, have a wonderful day, have a safe and prosperous new year, and be very careful tonight on the roads, because as usual, New Year's Eve is a dangerous time. See you again tomorrow.